I'm going to show you the new features of their new firmware that we have released on our DVRs. This firmware applies for the economy line, late 2011, applies to the mini HD or the older DVRs such as Elite, Ultimate, and mini HD. Also applies to the newer DVRs, NVRs, hybrid DVRs, and Ultimate mini DVRs. So first I'm going to start configuring Ethernet Explorer. I'm going to be using Ethernet Explorer 8. So to start, you have to go to Ethernet Explorer. Once it opens, you go to Tools, Ethernet Options, Security tab, and Custom Level. Now, here there's only one option primarily you have to change. So if you scroll down, you see here, download unsigned Activex controls. That's the only option you have to change. Set it to prompt, click OK. Yes, apply, and OK. That's pretty much it. Now the next step is to know what kind of operating system version are you using. If you're using a version that runs on 32 bits or 64 bits. On 64 bits there is an extra step, but the configurations of Internet Explorer is the same. So to do that, I have to go to Start, right-click on Computer, and then click Properties. I'm running in a 32 bits, so I don't have to do the extra step. But if it says 64, the extra step is that you have to open Ethernet Explorer and run it as an administrator. So for you to do that, you have to go to Start, and then you type Internet, and then on a 64-bit, it will show you this Ethernet Explorer like this, and then it will show you Ethernet Explorer, and then between parentheses, it says 64-bit. Don't use the 64-bit, use the regular Ethernet Explorer. What you have to do then is right-click and run as an administrator, okay? Even if I do it on 32 bits, it doesn't harm the process, okay? So I'm gonna run it just regular without running it as an administrator. The next step is to know what your DVR's IP is. I have a bunch of DVRs here. I don't have the default IP address, but the default IP address on your DVR should be, if it's within the same range, is 192.168.1.108. Okay? My DVR is running on a different IP, so don't use the IP that I'm trying to connect to right now. Just use whatever the IP you have on your DVR. Okay? So my IP is running on port 36, which is the HTTP port. Normally, by default, it runs on port 80. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type the IP of my DVR by putting http://, and the reason why is because I have the port HTTP, it's not running on port 80. If it was, I don't have to put HTTP or :80. Okay? So mine is running on 36, so the IP is 192.168.1.36:36. And then it's going to ask me to install the Activex controls. Click on it and install this for all users in these computers. And then click Install. By the way, I'm running this on a Mac environment. I have a virtual machine running Windows, so don't worry about that. So I'm pretty much explaining how to do it on Windows because it's primarily how you will be accessing your DVR. So here it goes. This is the web service. There's no difference. The only two differences will be LAN and WAN. Okay? If your screen shows up like not right, if it doesn't show up like this, what you have to do is you should have a torrent page right here. Click on it, and it will refresh the page in compatibility view. It allows you to run certain programs like in an older version of Ethernet Explorer. Okay, so what you have to do then is just type your username and password. But before we do that, I want to explain what differences are in between LAN and WAN. When you open the DVR using LAN, no cameras will open. You have the option to configure your DVR and do all these things, but the difference is primarily in when it uses a lower bandwidth when you open the cameras. It's actually automatically, after you put the username and password, it will automatically open the cameras, but using what is called the extra stream or the substream, which is lower resolution. It's not going to affect the way that the DVR is recording. It's just for viewing. It's pretty much what the iPhones and Android devices uses to when you download the app and you view the cameras through the app. For this demonstration, I'm going to use LAN, so I can show you the difference. Oops. Make sure you type your password right. All right. Here's the main interface. You see no cameras are open. It looks exactly the same, but there are certain configurations that they have been changed. So for you to see that, you have to go to config. And in here, you will pretty much will see this configuration looks exactly the same. Now, but look at the version. It's 2.608 GV00.00 built 2012-627. This DVR that I'm accessing right now, it's an EL full-size DVR, so it is compatible to that DVR as well. As long as you have an HDMI, you will be able to install this firmware. This firmware is actually upon request. You have to submit a ticket or call us, and you have to provide the model number and provide valuable information for me to send you the firmware, because I don't want to screw it up. Okay, so this features here look exactly the same. You know, you have your version, you have HDD info, you have a log. This hasn't been changed. For example, you go to record. You see this tab right here. Before, it didn't used to say that. It used to say, you know, the mode, how do you record, and if it's based on a schedule you set or manual, or if you can stop the cameras. But look, you see now it says extra stream. What happened is that you can set the DVR to record the extra stream resolution that you have, or the settings that you have on your extra stream under encode. So for the purpose of, especially when people has lower ISPs, you know, like, you know, there are certain ISPs that they're very low on bandwidth. So when you are outside the network and you try to view the cameras, you can't because it's very low. It's very, you know, you don't have a higher bandwidth speed. So this is a good configuration that we add on the DVRs, because then you can go to encode, and then you can lower the frames and lower the resolution and the bit rates for you to view the cameras outside. This, whatever I do here, it will not affect the recording. So the DVR will always record at the maximum resolution, but for viewing purposes, you should have this as low as possible, at least for the frames per second and the bit rates, the kilobits per second, how much bandwidth each camera is going to be pulling off the network or your Ethernet service provider. So for example, this I have it on CIF at 7, which is fine, I'm okay with it. And I have the bit rate configured as 48 kilobits per second. I can go higher or I can go lower. I don't need to go higher, so it doesn't matter. So that's one of the new features that you see here. This feature by default is off. So you have to go to the drop down and choose extra stream and choose schedule or whatever, however you want to choose it, but make sure that it's not stop. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to open the WAN configurations using that. Also, this feature is good because if you have your Ethernet service provider is very slow and you want to review video, you want to search for footage, you can search now using the extra stream. That's right. So if you go to search, there you go. There's these two new tabs right here. So you can choose your date and your beginning time and the end time and the channels you wanted to search for. Then if you try to search for something, it's going to say, hey, please select at least 1-bit stream if you wanted to use the mainstream or the extra stream. Because the extra stream is normally lower, you can your video playback will be smoother. So for example, I choose extra stream and I wanted to search for camera number 2. All right, that's it. So I can go and look any footage I want. Okay, and then I can select up to 4 channels. Let's say 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So I choose the time and just double click on it, And there you go. Now it's playing using the extra stream. That's how it plays so fluent. I mean, there's no lag or anything like that. And that's because of it. It's because the lower resolution set on the extra stream, it's ideal for you to view cameras over the network. That's one of the features they add to it. Let's go to config again. And here under FTP, under network actually, you go to NAS, and then you will see here it says NAS enabled, and then you have video enable and picture enable. Now you should be able to store on an external FTP server. You can store your footage, so you can have an extra backup right there. That's a neat feature right there. Also, you have to be careful because the bandwidth will be reduced because the DVR automatically, at a certain point of time, is going to start, dumping files to a remote folder. That's what an FTP is, a file transfer protocol. So it will you will have a folder somewhere there on the cloud, and then you can basically dump the footage for a particular channel or all of the channels. Under encode, this feature has been here since we upgrade to the 2.608 firmware. You can go to the mainstream, and then you will see under encode, if you go to mainstream, you will see normal stream, motion stream, and then alarm stream. This is particularly if you're recording, you can set different resolutions on your DVR based on the type stream. So for example, if your DVR is recording 24/7 and motion, you can configure the DVR to record when it's recording or while it's recording at 24/7. You can set it up to be at the higher resolution, meaning D1 at 30 frames per second if your DVR allows it. And when motion happens, I can configure it to, let's say, I want a SIF at 1 frames per second. You know what I'm saying? So every time that the DVR captures motion, it will record based on this resolution, but after the motion ends, the DVR will keep recording at the higher resolution because it's set to both. If you have a mix and match schedule, let's say regular recording or 24/7 regular recordings in motion at the same time, that's what will happen. The DVR, it will record 24/7 at the highest resolution or whatever resolution you have here on the normal stream, which should be higher. Then when motion happens, you can tell the DVR, oh, I don't care, if the footage is in lower resolution, as long as I have any kind of footage, I can have it like that. So I can reduce the resolution to a low resolution, or either frame rate, or less kilobits per second, and so on. So that's what is that. That's what it is. Any other features have been stayed the same, but that was primarily the same. Like the upgrades that we have done. Also under search, you can now see if you have a CD burner right there, you can select the footage, and then you can tell the DVR to save it on, instead of your computer, you can tell it to save it on your CD burner or a flash drive that you have attached to it, and so on. You can tell them to change, and instead of being a DAV file, to be an SAF. It's another file extension. And then you can just tell them to back up there instead of your computer. So it saves time. Also, another thing you can do, I wanted to stress it, and many customers have asked me this, when they're recording at 24/7 records, they can not, chop the files. Let's say that they have an hour-long recording, and they wanted to just back up 10 seconds of what's going on that hour recording. You can do that. You can basically go into the file. Let's say I wanted to play this file. Let's delete this. And then let's say channel 1 is fine. And then I wanted to, let's say something happened on this at this time on this channel. So if you go to more, you will see rec path. This is basically the recording path. The DVR has this option right here. When you hover your mouse on top of it, it says local record. that means that you can record live whatever is happening at this particular time. So if you wanted to back up just a just a frame or just a time frame, let's say 10 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever, you can do that. So this is where it's going to be saved. This is the path where it's going to be saved. Okay? You can go ahead and click browse, and then you can change the path if you like to, and then that's pretty much it. Make sure that it says set succeeded. Okay? So I'm good there. Let's say something happened just right now, and then I just start clicking, and I wanted to back up that portion. So I just click in there. You see that is kind of like gray or white, and then that means that the DVR is recording from since I click that button. Then when I'm done, I just click on it again, and it's done. Now, if I wanted to see what happened or what got it backed up, I go to computer, local disk, record download. That was camera number 2. There you go. I can just double click on it, and there you go. It just downloads 19 seconds of the footage I want, and that's pretty much it. It's very easy. From here, I can, with the player, which is available on our website, I can go ahead and convert it to AVI, and I can browse. I can go to my computer, local disk, record download, channel number 2. Here is the file, and then convert it, and there you go. I have the AVI. Then you can give it to authorities, and they can review the footage without having the player. Or you can burn it to a CD or upload it to YouTube or whatever you want to do with it. It's very easy. So that's some of the things that the new feature or the new firmware allows you to do. Now, to end this video, I'm just going to log out. I'm going to refresh this, and I'm going to use WAN. Okay? Put my password again. There you go. You see, it opens up the cameras automatically. And what it does is disconnects these cameras. It will not stream these cameras based on the layout you have, or basically it will stream the cameras based on the layout you have. That's for you to conserve bandwidth. So I can just go ahead and, let's say you have 1 view, 4 view, and so on, and then you have like a drop down that you can choose the camera you want to see. So if I choose camera number 12, you see it automatically turns off the other channels and just transmit channel number 12. Then I can do 4-channel view, and then you see automatically it will start streaming only the 4 channels or the view that I have here, and so on. That's a neat feature. It allows you to conserve bandwidth, and then especially when you are outside the network and you don't have an internet service provider that is really fast for upload and download. So this is ideal for you to use if you are outside the network, for example. And you know, it's very practical. It's very easy. You just have to choose the layout or the cameras you want to stream, and then automatically will start streaming. Now you will see here you cannot close the channels. You can go ahead. You have to log out, or you can go to, let's say you wanted to do something else. You can just go ahead and go to config, and it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to leave this page? You say, okay, and then you see you are able to go there and then do what you need to do. So you can still managing the DVR, pretty much the configurations using that. Okay, I hope this has been informative for you, and thank you for watching.